They pull it out and they hold the Saints at bay.
And the Crows get it done. What a win, what a game of football.
They've been really impressive. For Adelaide to knock off Sydney last week tells us that they're in pretty good form and playing a good brand of footy.
You know, they do a lot right, so they're not going to change an awful lot. The challenge is to be able to counteract that and play, as I said, the way we want to play.
We haven't been great with our form this year, but we have been able to defend those sorts of plays quite effectively. So hopefully we'll be able to do that again on Friday night. If we can't, we're in a bit of strife. But if we can, we give ourselves a really good chance of being able to win the game.
I'm not sitting here saying that we've mastered any areas of our game. We've still got a lot of room for improvement, and that's what we're striving for. All we are is accountable for and responsible for how we play, and that's the same on Friday night.
That's how it's set up for tomorrow night. He is one of our favourites. They're in town, so we asked him to come in. Sam Jacobs, welcome again to AFL 360.
Thanks for having me, boys. Good to be here.
Last time he was on, we commented about your grey-looking house, and I asked you, were you painting it? Or
you forced me to build a new one.
Is it? Did many people comment on the colour
I
of your
did.
house?
I had a lot of friends in that mentioned that I needed to do a paint job, so I thought I'd start again.
Did they agree, Sam?
Yeah, I agreed with you.
It's good to see you, pal.
Sam, it feels like it's the perfect challenge at the perfect time, just to get a gauge internally and externally, because this looks incredibly promising. Does it feel a bit that way?
Yeah, it has. It's been obviously an exciting start to the year. Much was made of our draw early on, but we view it as a challenge. So. It's great to get the good teams early on and really test, where we're at as a team. Is
there any relevance from semi-final night, which in football terms is not that long ago?
I don't think so. I think, we've got a lot of new faces in now. We've got a new coach as well. Systems have changed a little bit, so no, I don't think so.
How much has the system changed? Because, you're playing pretty good football under Phil. Phil passed, played really good football under Canterbury Ali. Won a final, got to a second, got smashed up by Hawthorn. So a lot of right was being done last year. What's capped it off this year?
Yeah, I think, offence has obviously been one of our really strong suits, and, it's sort of continued on this year. And but the thing Pikey's brought in is probably, a little changes in our defence. He's come from the Eagles, who were really sound defensively last year. So, I assume he's brought a little bit from the Eagles.
Defending space.
Yeah, things like that.
Hasn't really worked against Hawthorn the last couple of times they've met.
No, it hasn't, has it? But no, that's probably where our main improvement's going to come from, is our defence.
There's a feeling, and tell me, you'll say it's not right, but there's a feeling that the Hawks don't mind playing you guys because they can beat up on you. They don't think you're physically or mentally ready for them.
Yeah, I guess.
What do you say about that?
Oh, I guess recent history probably suggests that. I think they beat us pretty convincingly in the final and in Adelaide last year, and I think the last time we beat them was in 2011. So. We haven't really got close to them, but it's a new year and a new team, and we're excited for the challenge.
Your resolve has been really good. I've got to be honest with you. I didn't say bad things about you. I did say that your performance in the last quarter of the round one game against Goldstein, when Goldstein took a couple of critical marks, and it was a high-pressure game, and I said, was his fitness a problem? Because Goldstein was able to get away. When you have a game like that and your opponent has such an influence in a short time, does it eat away at you for a couple of days? Do you think, God, that was my fault? Do you say, right, I've got to change, I've got to get better, I've got to improve, I've got to fight back? What's the mentality when that happens?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think you definitely want to fight back. Goldie came through the same draft together. I trained at the Kangaroos for a couple of weeks in the lead-up, so I've got a bit of a relationship with Toddy, and he got me in the last quarter. He's obviously a quality player, and unfortunately I wasn't able to keep him quiet the whole game. So, I definitely learned a bit. I reviewed it pretty heavily just to see what he does, because he's contested marking.
What did he do? What did he do right? I don't know about him. Yeah. What did you do wrong?
I think I allowed him to jump at the ball too easily. He's a really big man, and you've seen this year, probably flowing from that game, he's been able to take some really strong marks and also hit the scoreboard. So, he's obviously the standard at the moment, and I think the rest of us are probably chasing him. Right,
so when you see what Goldstein did to you, you review the tapes and you think it's probably more me than him. Do you take that into, say, last week's game? You're up against, what, Tippett and, was it Nankervis?
Yeah.
So do you take that into that game, or do you think, no, it's different courses for different horses?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. I think there's probably some things I could have improved on, but Toddy, went to another level as well. So I'll take nothing away from him, but There's a few Ruckman. You look at their games and have a close look to see what you can implement. So there is definitely some things I changed. Tippett's obviously a really great contested mark, so he wasn't able to take any contested marks on me. So I guess it's a step in the right direction.
Bloody oath it is.
Yeah.
You don't get to play often at the MCG. I was just going through you've played 131 games, knowing that you started at Carlton, but you've only played 16 times at the MCG. When you do get do you cherish coming and being able to play there?
Yeah, I do for sure. Living over here for 4 years and playing at a big club like Carlton, you sort of, I was in the stands a lot, so you sort of, you really get excited when you go there. And coming from interstate now, we don't get many chances, so none come bigger than Hawthorn on a Friday night. So I'm really excited by it. We obviously get great support in Adelaide with Adelaide, so it'll be a really great night.
So you've got this one, and then you've got back-to-back games round 15 and 16 at the G. Is it important to test yourselves not only against the opponent but at the ground?
I guess in terms of cliches, you probably say no, but it is great to get there and I guess have a bit of success and play well at the G, which we were able to do last year. So for me personally, I think we can take confidence from that. We're able to perform against the Bulldogs. Not so much against the Hawks, but it's another great challenge to see if we can do it again this year with this squad.
Every time a player talks after a game, they talk about roles in the team and all that sort of stuff. When you're building up against Hawthorn, do you actually build yourself up and say, I really need to play well? I know the team needs to play well, but do you have that self, these are the games I want to dominate in? Do you build yourself up like that, or is it team?
Personally, I think it is about team. I think one thing you'll see with us throughout this year, and it's something Pikey's really brought in, is that really even spread. I don't think we've had any players that have really sort of come in and dominated, but we've had players each week stand up and perform well. So I think we've got a really even spread at the moment. I think it's working for us as a playing group, and I know that's what my focus would be, is just going in there and playing my role and giving our midfielders first use.
Is that why you haven't missed Dangerfield?
Well, I think so. I think it's been great. Yeah, we've got some fresh faces in. You've seen Wayne Miller come in. Matty Crouch is getting extended time in the midfield.
Seedsman,
Jared Lyons, Seedsman, all these blokes. We've got Brodie Smith back, who's had a tough year last year, and he's playing some really good footy. Rory Laird's gone to another level. So, you can probably throw a blanket over 10 to 12 guys who have taken their game to another level.
And so, Jarman said it right. He was the first person in Australia to say, and he can be a lunatic.
Yeah, I'm good mates with Jars.
Yeah, but he can be. He's got a good footy brain.
Yeah.
Now, he said, this team's better without Dangerfield. The knee-jerk reaction is say, that's crap.
Yeah.
How can a team be better without Dangerfield? But what we've seen in the past with Franklin, with Ablett, that when the best player leaves, clearly that team doesn't crumble. Clearly, because two teams have won premiership straight after their best players. What changes? What machinations change that the best player can leave, but then the team can play their best level football they have for 4 years?
Yeah, I think footy's a funny game. You see, it happens at the Bulldogs as well. They lost Ryan Griffin and all that, but they've gone to another level. So I think what it does, it creates opportunity, and we've got almost an underrated defence who are a really tight unit. They've got a lot of trust back there.
They're young, aren't they?
They are, and
except for
Taylor, but even he's only 25.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's only
a
young.
gun, isn't
yeah.
he?
So us midfield, we played a lot of time together, and our forward line obviously gets a lot of media and spoken lots about.
They big heads?
Nah, not at all.
They get a lot, don't they?
They do.
It's like the Crows are just the forward six and no one else.
That's I'm happy for them to get the kudos, and we'll just go about it through the midfield.
Good on you, Sam. Thanks for coming in on a rainy night in Melbourne, and the very best of luck tomorrow night for the rest of the season.
Thanks for having me, guys. Cheers.
No worries.